There's a new kit in Action RPG Town. But is it worth buying now? Or should you wait? Or swipe left? I've played through, smashed everything breakable, and kicked enough enemies off ledges and into various things to give you an answer. Let's find out. The name is Keeper, Fatekeeper. If that name doesn't leave you shaken or stirred, you're not the only one. This game was basically stealth dropped onto Steam early access without much fanfare. I suspect THQ Nordic, who are footing the bill, just aren't too keen on selling it for cheap early. They'd rather people discover it later. Because that's the plan. Start cheap in early access. Increase the price as the game nears completion. Yes, it's early access. But don't worry, it's not another obscure indie title that gets abandoned after a few months. The publisher THQ Nordic basically specializes in RPGs. I have every confidence they know what they're doing here, and will see this one through to full release. The developer is Periglacial, a new German studio. It's made up of former Grimlore games devs who previously worked on Spellforce 3. Right now, just 13 people. And it looks all the more impressive for it. The roadmap is simple. 18 months of early access, with the price increasing as the game gets closer to gold status. Full release is planned for next year's holiday season, and it's set to launch on both PC and console. So you can back it for a bargain price now, but only get a small part of the full game initially. Plus you get to influence the ongoing development with your feedback, if you wish. Now, here's why people are excited about this title. Fatekeeper is considered a spiritual successor to Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, a beloved cult action RPG spin-off from the once huge, but now mostly defunct Might and Magic franchise. Might and Magic was a long-running and immensely popular series of party-based role-playing games, giving birth to 10 games plus several spin-offs. Today, only the heroes of Might and Magic strategy games remain in active development, and actually just got a reboot. Dark Messiah was about brutal, reactive combat, where you had to make clever use of the environment. It released 2 full decades ago, and is still considered a classic. And Fatekeeper, it follows the same formula. Here's the pattern. You're on your own, always outnumbered, always. The game forces you into a rhythm to survive. Parry, dodge, find an opening to hit back, a quick jab, maybe a heavy attack if you have the time, a swift kick to break an enemy's guard. Find a ledge, kick them off. Find a spike, kick them into it. Enemy on a platform, pull them down. Or maybe you can destroy it and watch them plummet. It's a brutal dance, and once you get into the rhythm, it pulls you in and feels incredibly real and immersive. Very active, very alive, very there. It's the polar opposite of hold down the attack button or click once to auto-attack. No turns, just dirty tricks. If this game ever holds your hand, you better watch out. It's probably trying to drag you into a trap and loot all your stuff. Apart from melee combat, there are various spells. Fire and ice damage, a wind-based push, and telekinesis, which is also essential for progression. Alchemy lets you brew potions, elixirs, and craft grenades from gathered materials. The skill tree is massive. Eventually, it can completely change the way you play. But that takes a while, and parts of it are still work in progress. It's out of scope for the current early access content. But it makes the full game a lot more interesting, as you can gradually adjust your playstyle in a number of different ways, which adds incentive for replaying. Now, the skill tree, it's branching. Do I want more health, or maybe more health regen? Focus on more stamina for more melee attacks and better mobility? Or maybe use health for spellcasting instead of mana? You'll need a map just to make sense of what's there. It's huge. Speaking of maps, there isn't one. Not even a compass. Or quest markers for your current mission. For some reason the game's protagonist doesn't come fitted with GPS. Very old school. I don't mind too much. It helps keep things a bit more exciting. Secrets are harder to find. It forces you to pay more attention. There's something refreshing about in an age where the core gameplay of most RPGs consists of following quest markers. It's a throwback that adds to the claustrophobic atmosphere and keeps you on your guard. But most levels are linear rather than sprawling, with secrets hidden slightly off the path and progression often blocked by locked doors until you find the key or lever to open it. So, even if you're someone who gets lost easily, this shouldn't test your patience much. Still, some secrets can be surprisingly easy to miss. Old school style design. Love it or hate it. Fatekeeper makes good use of Unreal Engine 5.6. I'm running it on a couple-year-old PC at max settings and it didn't stutter once. No texture popping, no object flickering. Brief load times between areas. It's pretty clean. Nice, consistent art style, alternating between dark dungeons and the great forested outdoors. Ruins looked convincingly old and ruined, and the difference between them and the open areas is great. Totally different feel, but still same believable style. Enemies remind me of orcs and goblins from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but mostly of the original Dragon Age Darkspawn. I understand more variety is coming. This is not a sandbox or open world game. It's linear, alternating between claustrophobic underground dungeons and overgrown outdoor areas. Everything is handcrafted. No random generation, no endlessly recycled couple room spam. Looking at you, Dragon Age 2. The lighting is great, most noticeably so indoors, where wall torches and your carry torch do wonders for the atmosphere. Or, by contrast, the oppressive feel of gloomy, unlit areas. Speaking of atmosphere, the sound design is mostly spot on. Combat sounds are punchy and fitting. Swords clashing, spells crackling, enemies thudding when you kick them off ledges. Enemies chat when they spot or lose you. Some little boss speeches, oddly for bosses you don't get to fight, yet anyway. The Ambience sounds add a lot to atmosphere. Creaking stone, running water, distant creatures, that kind of thing. Music is classical fantasy style. A little too Diablo-esque in places though. Clearly, a lot of effort went into building some deep lore. At the moment, it's mostly delivered through interactions with your spirit guide, a former colleague reincarnated as a talking rat, of all things, as well as narrated load screens between levels. Good narrator voice there. I hope cutscenes are in the budget. At least a few, like an opening one. I did get a serious case of Diablo 1 flashbacks from the load screens though. The music sounds just like Tristram, and the voiceover sounds like Deckard Cain. There are decent lore descriptions for some items, most have nothing. Now, I get it, not every rusty spoon needs a backstory, but it deserves at least a sentence for immersion. I hope they expand on this. In early access, it's hard to tell apart work in progress and design decisions. But when some rubbish hammer you'll never use has a little novella attached, while the one epic sword in the game right now has no description at all, I'd blame it on early access. And maybe some weird development priorities. Another thing I found immersion breaking was limited use of the environment. Yes, it plays a huge role in combat as you yeet enemies off cliffs, push them down into holes, or kick them into wall spikes. Those spikes are everywhere, by the way. Who decorated this place, Hannibal Lecter? So yes, starring role for the environment in combat. But then there are places that just scream secret. Here's where my immersion broke. And this is something I really hope the devs fix. The environment is great for combat, but criminally underused for exploration. Look at these trees and boulders. Don't you feel an urge to explore, thinking there has to be something up there? Wrong. You can't even climb these trees. You just clip through. And you can't scale these boulders. It's a missed opportunity that makes the world feel less believable. Don't get me wrong, there are secrets hidden away. But there are also a lot of things that look interactive and aren't, but really should be. And the breakables. This is another thing I hope is owed to early access rather than design. I'm a pot breaker. There, I said it. I can't help it, it's compulsive. I smash every pot, barrel and box in every game I play. This one made me give up my holy mission at some point, out of sheer boredom. Because on Fatekeeper I found absolutely nothing. Not a single coin, not an old button. So why are they even breakable? Paraglacial, please, itemize at least some of those breakables. What's the point otherwise? Enemy variety is decent for early access. Several melee units, a couple ranged ones, some elites and a few bosses. Some bosses only talk and then leave. Others don't say a word and you get to fight them. Curious, really. Surprisingly, loot isn't a boss drop. Instead, you find equipment items either in treasure chests or just sitting there for you to pick up. Most chests just hold a mushroom or other material though. Right now, there's maybe 2 or 3 hours of content. The game just ends after that. No sandbox level for leveling or playing around with builds. There's no new game plus, and not much reason to replay unless you want to try a different build. But with the current content, you can't really get enough skill points for that. But the foundation is strong. If they add more content, more enemy types, and more meaningful choices, this could become very nice fodder for action RPG fans. The current promise is about 15 hours for the final game. We'll see what they deliver. So, should you get this game? And if so, should you get it now? Well, it depends. On consoles, you'll have to wait. Early access is PC only. But keep an eye on it. It may be worth your while. If you're on PC, let me be clear. Yes, there's not a lot of content yet, just a couple of hours. You could argue that this is a paid long demo that should be free. Or you could say it's an opportunity to get the game early for a fraction of the final price. And if you like, you can give the devs feedback that might help shape the final game in a direction you enjoy. For the current price, which is cheap and will only go up, it's a no-brainer. Even if you just let it sit in your library for now, you're locking in the lower price and get the best deal on the full game. Consider treating yourself to an early Christmas gift for next year. If you're someone who wants a finished, polished experience right now, probably not. Check back in 18 months to see if it's done. For me, I'm in. I'm happy to support a small studio making a game that scratches the Dark Messiah itch. It's a rare pleasure. And honestly, I'd rather pay less now and watch the game evolve than pay full price later. It's a gamble, but a rather cheap one. Just skip a snack. Win-win. That's the boat I'm in. And I don't think it's the Titanic. What do you think? Have you tried Fatekeeper yet? Let me know in the comments, I read them. If you want to follow this game's journey as it evolves through early access, or find out more about other games you'll enjoy, hit that like and subscribe button. If brutal action RPGs are your thing, I've got a whole playlist on Crimson Desert, linked in the description. Plenty of open world content there to sink your teeth into. Keep the faith, but don't listen to Bon Jovi.